Welcome to EdScoop TV. I'm Wyatt Kash, and I'm here today with Rick Gaisford. Rick is the Education Technology Specialist for the state of Utah's Board of Education. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Appreciate it. So we're here at the State Education Technology Directors Association, and this is their 15th year. I understand you've been a long-term member. Tell us a little bit about some of the value that you see attending this event and meeting with your peers.
I've been with SETDA since the very beginning, and over the years I've also served on the board of directors. And for me, SETDA is, my professional association. It's an opportunity to meet with my peers from across the country and to be able to discuss the things that we're all involved in our various states, but all have similarities, and be able to learn from others and what they're doing. But it's also been an opportunity in this organization to not just learn from one another, but also to influence what is going on in the country by working collaboratively together on a variety of resources over the years to talk about the importance of technology in education and how technology can be a means to power and to get us to the goals that we would all like to see, of personalized learning for students and being able to have a rich educational experience for our students.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little about what's going on in Utah right now and some of the technology innovations that you're proud to see taking place. What would be one or two that you're excited about?
Well, what I'm most proud about over the last 2 years, we've been working with the State Board of Education, the Utah State Legislature, and in 2015 we worked to put together a master plan for technology in Utah, Utah schools. It's Utah's master plan, Essential Elements for Technology-Powered Learning. It's a master plan of how we would like to see technology used in all of the schools throughout Utah. This year, in the 2016 Utah State Legislature, they actually funded our plan in a bill, House Bill 277, which appropriated $15 million, $10 million of that ongoing, to begin the process of moving our schools to really take advantage of technology in education. Now we're in the process of actually getting those dollars out to the schools so that they can take advantage of that through an application process. But every district or school in the state can participate if they want to complete the application process. And our goal is to have every school moving forward and every district moving forward in our state to be able to take advantage of technology.
Well, I understand Utah's made a lot of progress with broadband build-out across the state, a lot of kind of a backbone throughout most of the areas. How have K-12 schools taken advantage of that?
We're very unique in the way that that's been done in Utah in delivering broadband. We have what's known as the Utah Education and Telehealth Network, UETN. They've actually been around for over 20 years now, and their mission is to provide broadband access to the schools. They are also the ISP for all of the schools, and they also do all of the E-rate reimbursement and paperwork for schools for all the circuit costs and that. And then that helps to fund the network. And so we've been able over that time to make an extensive backbone that, most of the backbone now is either 10 gigabit or 100 gigabit. And we have about a gigabit circuit to every school in the state. So we've been able to deliver a lot of bandwidth to the actual school, and now we're working with the schools to make sure that they have the wireless infrastructure and the infrastructure internal in the building to be able to take advantage of the capacity that they have at their schools.
Now we know there's a number of schools across the country that are continuing to try to address what happens when kids leave school, go to homes, don't all have the same universal access to the internet that they do at school. How would you characterize where Utah schools are in facilitating that?
Well, it's very much a district by district or school by school endeavor, depending on where they are at with the technology. For those schools that are deploying devices in a one-to-one manner, they have had to address that, how they're going to take advantage of that in schools, and that a lot of just working in communities and being able to community organizations, libraries, other places, keeping schools open or making the wireless so it's available right around the school. But this is one of those new problems that come when you start sending devices with students that are home and you're expecting students to take advantage of those. Now you've got to start considering how you're going to make sure that all students, including those that may not have access, will have access. And that's a new problem and a good problem to have, but it is nonetheless an issue that our schools are beginning to have to really consider as they start thinking about sending devices home with students.
And what currently is the general policy about bring your own device or giving kids devices to have universal access to their homework?
We have 41 school districts in Utah. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about 16 to 20 of those are in some form of a one-to-one initiative, and that which is phenomenal, considering where we're at Utah typically and how much we spend in it for education per student. But we've been able to with that. We're able now to, they're dealing with how they're going to do that, so some are sending the devices home, others are just letting the devices being used in classrooms on carts, and students are just using it there. But that universal access, is going to be, it's the new issue of the day.
Yes.
And it's not just that, but it's how do you also make sure that if you're sending devices home and you're providing internet access, that it's safe internet access. Those are all the issues that we have to deal with right now.
Mm-hmm. And as you look ahead over the next year or two, what technology developments are you seeing that you're excited about or perhaps heard more about here, particularly with the new ESSA law coming into effect? What technologies do you think might really continue to take shape?
Well, I think what we see from the students and is mobile devices. We haven't, really focused on BYOD, particularly in Utah, because we want to give, BYOD has its advantages in the sense that a lot of students can bring their own device, but it makes it a bigger challenge for the teacher, because now they have to deal with a multiplicity of kinds of devices and operating systems and apps and all of those, and how do you give a consistent experience across all of those, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of extra work for a teacher to have to take on in that, and so most of our districts are trying to do a consistent either, and all of our districts at this point and schools and that have been doing it have been, they settle on one kind of device. We don't tell them at the state level, even in our program, that they have to use this device or that device. It's whatever infrastructure and devices and software and content that they want to use that they feel will meet the needs of their students.
Mm-hmm. Terrific. Well, lastly, is there any one idea you heard this year that you'll take back to your the state of Utah and share with your colleagues?
There's been so many. I guess one of the things that I picked up here is we spent some time in what we call speed sessions. And we listened to 9 different speed sessions. The innovation has not curtailed, has not stopped. There is great new innovative products. We're seeing lots, with coding and getting kids more involved and being hands-on. And these are all exciting developments that are just going to make the educational experience of students going forward to be very, very rich and to meet our students where they're at. Not the education system of yesterday, but the education system really of tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick Gaisford, thank you very much, and appreciate your taking time to be with us.
My pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Wyatt Kash with EdScoop TV. Thanks for being with us, and look for more of our content on edscoop.com.